Was really impressive in the first game that we saw out of this Florida team, followed by Cruz. Those are the three due-up. Alaska lifts it out to left field. Quick step back and a reach up for it. Demetrios Patikas makes the catch.
Yeah, great footwork out there in the left fielder. Hard hit ball, line drive. Really does a great job opening his hips up right there. A lot of times we see kind of this hesitation. When you get those hips open, you make a great read in left field.
Coy Dufresne is the starting pitcher for Louisiana. And delivers the first pitch strike to Roman Mirabella. Misses inside. So a 1-1 to Mirabella, who, in addition to looking good at the plate, the first time we saw him, tossed 3 scoreless innings.
Yeah, it was incredible. You know, what he was doing on the mound. He looks like a young Chris Sale out there, a long, lengthy lefty with that low delivery. He was one of the more impressive pitchers we've seen in this tournament so far.
Bouncer to second base, fielded by Abram Dong, the infielder for Louisiana.
Now batting number 22, Anthony Cruz.
So a quick 2 away. And a quick timeout. Just to slow things down a bit before Anthony Cruz steps up to the plate. Fist bump with the home plate umpire. Love to see that.
Little gamesmanship when you got a pitcher kind of in a little bit of a routine. 6 pitches, 2 outs. Try to slow him down a little bit.
First pitch swinging, though. Ground ball, shortstop's way, and Anthony Lopicolo gets a throw across to retire the side. Louisiana lineup for their first go at the plate. Hunter Verrett, who we talked about as we came on the air. Abram Dong, Anthony Lopicolo. Those are the 3 due up. Trey Halaska pitches. And finds the strike zone with his first. Halaska was the second pitcher used in their first game of the tournament. It's a foul ball, strike 2. He tossed an inning plus, responsible for a couple of runs. And struck out 1 batter. Hunter Verrett wants to be a pilot. There's another one. Wave and a miss. Halaska, quick work of the leadoff batter.
Yeah, really impressive by both these pitchers. We talked about the stakes being higher than they've ever been. Win or go home. And both these pitchers are doing a great job pounding the strike zone, working real quick, allowing them a chance to get a little bit deeper into this game.
Fly ball into right on the first pitch. Running catch pulled in by Chico Anderson, 2 away.
Once again, when you're in the strike zone, not only do you keep your defense engaged, the offense is also going to come up with a slightly different approach. They're going to be aggressive. As a hitter, I'm constantly watching the pitcher. If he's in the strike zone, I'm more inclined to come up and be very aggressive and swing because I know he's going to be in the zone. When the pitcher's all over the place, I'm going to come up with a slightly different approach, be a little bit more passive, see some more pitches.
Strike 1 from Halaska to Lopicolo. Close take, 1-1. First one outside of the zone that Halaska's thrown.
Yeah, that could have gone either way. Very quality pitch right there.
Quickly dials up a swing and a miss, and Halaska again with 2 strikes on the batter.
Once again, when you're in the strike zone a lot, you get a lot more aggressive approach by hitter, and then when you're able to drop in a nice breaking ball like that, you're able to get some chase out of the zone.
Goes with it again and gets a swing and a miss. The dish, beginning with Tyson Goss, the third baseman. Takes the first pitch, it's 1-0. 15 combined pitches to get through that first inning. 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. Breaking ball swung on and missed.
Yeah, really good job by both these pitchers. Really nice use of that breaking ball, being a little bit unpredictable. He's done a really good job establishing that fastball in the zone. And once again, when you're consistently in the strike zone, you take a much different approach as a hitter. You're going up there being a little bit more aggressive. You're anticipating strikes. And then when you're able to snap off some good breaking balls, you'll get some chase.
Dufresne tries a third in a row. That time it misses to even the count 2-2. Chopper third base side and rolls foul.
Just the importance of throwing strikes, keeping your defense engaged. And once again, these young athletes are up against a pitch count, especially when you start getting later into the tournament. The more they can be effective.
Line drive makes its way through the left side of the infield. Man, that was a screamer toward Charlie Bartlett at third. And it results in a leadoff hit for Tyson Goss.
Now batting number 14, Asher Morales.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of quality breaking balls. This one, he just gets a little bit on the side, up in the zone. Really nice job from the batter right there, hitting a blistering line drive right at the third baseman. Really tough play to react that quickly when you're playing in on the grass.
So runner at first, Asher Morales is the batter, the second baseman for this Florida team. First pitch, hard ground ball to shortstop, the flip to second, the turn. Beautiful double play executed from Lopacolo to Dong. Over to first base to Blaze Markey.
Yeah, we're in game 4 of this tournament, game 6 of this tournament for us, and this is the first double play we've seen, and this is as pretty as it gets. This is a nice 6-4-3 double play, beautifully executed by Louisiana.
Clears the base paths. And an 0-1 count to extra hitter Charles Graff.
You know what they call double plays in baseball, right? Pitcher's best friend. One pitch, 2 outs. Doesn't get any better for a pitcher.
It does not. Graff
especially in a game, especially in a a time when strikeouts are the thing we talk about the most. But if you ask any pitcher, if I can deliver one pitch and get 2 outs, that's the way to be effective.
Oh, 2 to Graff. Dufresne zips it. A little bit of extra effort on that. Lost his cap on the way down.
Hey, when you're in the moment, you're feeling good on the mound, you got an 0-2 count. Every once in a while, it's okay to reach back for a little more.
Breaking ball, one hop to shortstop, Lopacolo. Plenty of time to make the throw across, and that is the top of the second. We're through an inning and a half. Louisiana to the plate when we return. Talent collecting dirt stains.
Yeah, I do love that. I don't know if I'd quite put that up there as a special talent. I would say that's just the type of baseball player he is.
It's a hobby. It's something he enjoys doing.
But once again, I sat up here and I tried to figure out what my special talent was. So it's a tough question to answer unless you really have something extraordinary that you can do that most other people can't do. I'm going to go with it. Special talent. That's my special talent. I had a knack for getting my uniform dirty as well.
You and Coy Dufresne both.
Thank you, Coy.
Coy watches ball 4. It's a leadoff walk. First base runner of the game for Louisiana.
And first opportunity to get collect his dirt stains.
No doubt. So we'll see. We'll see how true to it he is. Base runner for Jace Ford, one of the extra hitters in the Louisiana lineup. Continuous batting order, 12 hitters for both teams today.
Oh, Coy had an opportunity there. Didn't quite have a big enough lead to get the uniform dirty, but I would expect him to get that lead out there a little bit more as he starts to get comfortable with the timing of the pitcher.
Yeah, no dive back on 2 tries now. I don't know that I'm buying what Coy's selling.
All right. I'm going to have to talk to Coy after the game and see if this really is a special talent or not.
Trey Halaska set, goes to the plate. Ford shows bunt, pulls it away, and Coy slides in safely at second, pops up and makes his way over to third.
All right, Coy.
There's some dirt.
There's some dirt, but you know his special talent. He's a trickster. He fooled us all. He didn't have that big lead over there. He was going in, standing up, really just setting everyone up, not just us in the booth. I think he set up the entire Florida team that he wasn't going to run. Not only does he steal second base, he pops up and is able to advance to third.
Infield now in. Ford chops it back to the mound. Halaska tosses to the plate. And the tag is applied for the out.
Gotta slide. Hey.
So that's the first down.
Coming to the plate, number 16.
Yeah, really nice job by the pitcher, staying under control, understanding the situation, giving his catcher plenty of time. And a little bit of an aggressive contact right there. You have a decision in a situation like that. When the infield's in, runner at third base, your coach is more than likely telling you you're going on contact, meaning if the ball's put in play, you're going. Sometimes you do have the read as well. In that situation, the fact he went on a comebacker would tell me he was going on contact.
So now, obviously, the collision there is not conducive to anything, not really productive, but I do think it was somewhat incidental. I think Dufresne coming from third, you saw he kind of broke down as if he started to slide, but the throw got there so soon.
Yeah, you're in a tough situation because the ball beats you there by a lot. It feels weird to slide in a situation when you know you're out, and it also feels a little bit weird to just kind of give up on the play. So is there bad intent there? No. Is it a little bit aggressive? Maybe, but I think it's just two competitive young athletes trying to make a play for their team.
Here's Charlie Bartlett, the third baseman.
You saw his dad played on the Corn Ferry Tour. I wonder if he's here, and I wonder if he's got any pointers for me.
You and me both. We can go talk to him and get some swing tips.
I need help.
Picked off over to first, and Ford sneaks around the tag.
Yeah, we saw the previous base runner steal from not as big of a lead, which is a little bit riskier, but with this type of pickoff move, how quick the pitcher's feet are, you have to be a little bit more cautious getting your lead.
Bartlett leaves it upstairs. So now he's got 2-0.
You're good, Trey. You're good, baby.
Got to be real disciplined right here. You get 2-0 like this early in the game, it's okay to be very aggressive and trying to drive the ball in a gap, maybe even trying to leave the yard right here, but you got to be very selective. What pitch do you want? Do you want the fastball? Do you want the off-speed pitch? Where do you want it to be? Where do you want it to start?
Drops into the strike zone. Now it's 2-1.
That's a great job right there. That's not the pitch he's looking for. Just because you get in a 2-0 count doesn't mean you have to swing. You know the pitcher's probably going to try to throw a strike. That's not the pitch you're looking for. You let it go.
Ford back on a dive again.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you get a little bit older and you play a lot more baseball, you start to understand things like that. Count leverage, you know, not only on the base pass, in the batter's box. There's certain times you want to do certain things on the base path. You know, just because I get over to first base doesn't mean I need to steal first pitch. You start to learn how to anticipate counts, what are better off-speed pitch counts. You know, when you're in the batter's box, taking that pitch 2-0 is a great thing. You know, potentially taking that pitch 1-1, is it a hittable pitch? You know, there's certain things you learn as you start playing the game a little bit more.
Different assignment now with 2 strikes for Bartlett. Chases high and can't connect. That's strike 3.
Yeah, once again, once you're very effective throwing strikes in the zone, you get the offensive player to be a little bit more aggressive. He does a nice job executing that four-seam fastball above the strike zone, and we all know the closer to your eyes, the more tempting the ball becomes.
3 strikeouts. First pitch swinging, lifted by Patikas, and it's dropped. Cruz couldn't squeeze it over at first. Everybody's safe there at the corners.
Now batting number 5, Rhett Smith.
We've talked about this second game in the day. As we get later in the day, the sun becomes a little bit more of a factor. And for the first baseman, you could tell when he was kind of backpedaling on that ball, you could tell he was trying to find the ball. And even if it's not in the sun directly, you could just see how bright the sky is here. What we like to refer to as like a high sky. When there's no clouds in the sky, the ball somehow very easily gets camouflaged in that sky, makes it very difficult to see the ball.
Runner goes from first, but the throw cut off by Halaska. So Patikas able to steal second. 0-1 the count to Rhett Smith. Make that 1-1.
Yeah, first big moment in this game. 2 outs, runners in scoring positions. The first real scoring opportunity we've seen.
This high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Did Smith lay off? Check of the swing, says he did not go. And the count goes to 3-1.
It's a very nice job by the catcher, Nolan Scott, back there. We've seen many balls get behind the catchers, wild pitches, pass balls. The pressure on the catcher during this time of the game with the runner at third base is extremely high. Really nice job getting down there, being a wall.
Alaska misses low. That's ball 4, and it loads the bases. Kevin, a lot of times at this level, you'll see a pitcher with especially 2 outs, even with the runner at third. As Halaska had there, you'll see them pitch from the windup. But he's deciding here to continue to go from the stretch.
Yeah, maybe this is what the conversation is now. I mean, it feels a little bit weird to do it when there's a runner at second and third base, even though the chances of the base runner at third base stealing home, more than likely pitchers feel more comfortable pitching out of the windup. It's why you see it. Yeah. It's a little bit easier. It's a little bit more methodical. Sometimes out of the stretch, you kind of have to change that leg kick. You're worrying about slide stepping. I wonder if his coach right now comes out, lets him know, reminds him of the situation. There's a lot going through these pitchers' heads, these young athletes' heads right now. He's letting them know these base runners have nowhere to go. Let's get back in the windup potentially, feel confident, keep throwing strikes.
Jace Ford, the lead runner at third. Patikas at second. Rhett Smith at first. Bags full. And Halaska again from the stretch.
He feels comfortable. He has a choice.
First pitch is a fastball ripped into right field. That's a base knock that'll score one. A great throw from Anderson, and Wright keeps it at one. But that makes it 1-0 Louisiana.
Really nice piece of hitting right there. Actually, just a really nice baseball play. Everything was done correctly on this play. Great mound visit, letting your pitcher know, trust your defense, come out and throw strikes. He pounds the zone. Really nice piece of hitting, letting that ball travel. An extremely nice job by the right fielder coming up, charging this ball, but more importantly, giving his cutoff man a chance to cut the ball off. And a really good job by the third base coach holding his runner up.
So an RBI single for Caden Rodriguez, and now an 0-1 count for Blaze Markey, the first baseman. Markey, a 3/4 swing that sends it into the backstop. He's got 0-2, the 7th hitter of this inning for Louisiana.
Yeah, he definitely wanted that, and then at the last second he decided maybe that's not the pitch I'm looking for.
Just off the mark outside. Well-placed pitch by Halaska.
Yeah, if you're going to miss in that situation, 0-2, miss off the plate, really close pitch. But if you're going to miss, once again, you don't want to miss over the plate. It's okay to miss off. Try to get some chase.
The 1-2 almost got some chase, but Markey did not come around. That's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a really good job by the batter right there. It's a really tough pitch to lay off. Pitcher and catcher do a really good job kind of setting you up as a hitter, getting your eyes out over the plate, and then you come back with a very similar pitch, but then it breaks off the plate. It's a really tough pitch to lay off.
2-2, fouled away again.
Good job by Markey there, too. 2 strikes. You've seen the ability for the pitcher on the mound to spin it. You allow that ball to travel a little bit. If you're going to foul it off, you just go to the opposite field.
Over top of the strike zone, full count.
Three, 2, 2 outs. Base runner is going to be moving on the pitch.
Make sure he goes to the plate. Come on, boys. Aiming close.
There go the runners. Markey sends it into right, and it drops in front of Anderson. A run scores, 2 score, and it's 3-0. That was a lot like Rodriguez's single, but it played 2 because the runners were going.
That's just a professional at-bat by Blaze, falling behind in the count. We talked about his ability to not only lay off some tough pitches, he fouled off some tough pitches. As he got deeper into the count, he saw everything the pitcher. Really nice job staying behind that ball, staying inside that ball, using the opposite field. Gets rewarded with 2 RBIs.
And gets thrown at immediately afterward. So Markey back to the bag at first. They're at the corners. Cole Phipps is the batter. He's the catcher for this Louisiana club. Off the handle foul.
Delivering some nice throws through his cutoff man.
Communication device issue.
I wonder if they refer to it as PitchCom here.
Well, that's a brand name. That's a proper noun, so I don't know that they're all specifically PitchCom.
Communication device.
Yeah,
like
it is. So it's whatever they use to communicate pitch selection. Anderson fouls it back. It's 0-2. Quick 0-2. And a wave and a miss, strike 3. That's the first for Dufresne, who had gotten his first 6 outs on 4 ground outs, including a double play, as well as a fly ball.
Yeah, he just has a really good feel for pitching. When you are getting a lot of ground ball outs, you're throwing a ton of strikes, it's exactly what you want to do. But as you're able to get 2 strikes, you can be a little bit more selfish on the mound and try to get some chase and strikeouts. But you shouldn't be trying to get strikeouts from pitch 1.
First pitch grounded to shortstop, and Lopicolo unable to corral it. So Nolan Scott safe at first.
Now batting number 1, Bree Pitts.
Yeah, just a tough play right there. You get that kind of in-between hop. He kind of takes that angle going towards third base. Ideally, you would want to try to get around that baseball, get your momentum going towards first base, because that's where the throw needs to be done. Sometimes you don't necessarily have that time to do it. Makes it a difficult play.
That is launched into left field by Bree Bitts. She's on her way to second. The lead runner slides in safely as Scott is in at third. A double for Bree Bitts. You go, girl.
Yeah, that's a beautiful swing. She had some great at-bats in that first game that we watched. She didn't have anything to show for it, but I love the aggression. She knows the pitcher's been in the zone. She gets a nice pitch out over the middle of the plate. Nice flat swing right there. Blisters a double down the line, and great hustle getting into second base.
Puts 2 in scoring position. And J.J. Gardner, the batter. Close miss. Gardner swings over the top of it. Gardner pulls out a bunt and fouls it away.
We talk about the element of surprise with the bunt right there. I don't think anyone had him bunting right there, and it's a great time to do it. Runner at third base, try to catch the defense by surprise.
Swinging away. Gardner hacks it foul, so with 2 strikes, he's not going to try that, I don't think.
No, and sometimes when a batter decides to bunt in a situation, sometimes it has to do with how he feels about the pitcher on the mound. If he feels maybe overmatched or he's not seeing the ball really well, he might just try to get a bunt down, get some action going. We talked about the importance of scoring runs in this game. Getting that first run is going to give this team a ton of momentum.
Gardner reaches and sends it out into center field. It drops down for a single. The throw goes to third. Bitts slides in safely. So it scores a run, and she advances from second to third. They're at the corners.
And sometimes when you show that bunt early and you track the ball even better with your eyes, it does a really nice job. That's a really nice breaking ball. Sometimes with 2 strikes, you just have to be a tough out. He gets rewarded putting this ball right in front of the center fielder. No lower half. That's just all heart, just the ability to compete. Sometimes it doesn't have to look pretty. Sometimes you just got to dig deep, and that's exactly what he does right there. And a very difficult read for Bree at second base. The only thing she could have done better in that situation is you're facing home. Sometimes you actually flip your body around and you face the outfielder. It gives you a better idea of if the ball is going to land or drop. Very fortunate to be safe at third base. She got a little bit in between, and sometimes when you do get caught in between, you take the safe route. You just go back to second base. She risks it a little bit. Fortunately for her, the throw was a little bit high. She was able to slide in safe.
1-0 count for Will Howard, who again pulls the bunt away. Now 2-0.
Yeah, we've seen a different style of play from Florida and a lot of other teams. We've also seen a different style of bunting at third base. We've seen some pop-ups that get caught, plays back to third base. We've seen some players run into outs. Right there, Bree does a really good job. This is not a full, what we consider suicide squeeze, where you're just running, hoping the player gets the ball down. She does a really good job getting her lead down. She's committing, but if he pulls the ball back or doesn't get it down, she has enough time to get back to third base.
Contact, but it's back into the backstop, 2-1. The 11th batter in the order for Florida.
Right now, if you're Will Howard and the coach gives you the sign that you're getting a bunt down, once again, it's not the element of surprise, it's the location of the bunt.
Watches strike 2. Was not looking to bunt there. Now he's got to protect the plate.
Yeah, we just saw a similar situation with J.J. Gardner. You get the 2 strikes right now after not getting the bunt down or showing the bunt. Sometimes you just have to dig deep, compete right now, find a way to get the bat on the ball.
Howard throws the bat head at it. A weak dribbler in the infield. Unable to be fielded, and everybody's safe. Bitts comes across to score, and it pulls it within 1 for Florida.
We saw this with back-to-back batters from this team from Florida. You get deep in the count. It doesn't have to look pretty. You can get out of your swing. You just have to be very competitive. Move that ball forward, especially with the runner at third base. Good things happen.
They're at first and second now for Chase Eichhorn. Oh, 0-1.
Yeah, we're seeing a much different approach at the bottom of this order. We're seeing a lot of bunts, bunt attempts. We're showing a lot of bunt. They're also doing a really good job of getting that pitch count out. We know the importance of trying to get the pitch count up for some of these young pitchers on the mound. There are limitations of what they can do. Every pitch that you can see or fight off and extend that pitch count, it's going to pay off later in this game.
Throw back toward Gardner at second, but he's safe and on the bag.
Yeah, that was a really good attempt right there at a called play from the dugout. The timing was off a little bit. As you saw, the shortstop kind of circled in front of the base runner, making it appear like he's giving him all this room. The second baseman kind of sneaks in the back door.
Line drive into center field. Eichhorn a single. They tried the force play at second, but it's not quite there in time.
It's a really nice swing, line drive up the middle, and a really nice play by the center fielder. A lot of times you get a ball in the outfield like that, you aren't thinking about the next play. Really nice job. Starts with this great swing, this fastball up in the zone, really doing a good job getting on top of it. But really nice job by the center fielder coming up, fielding it.
Gardner, meanwhile, held at third, so everybody advanced a station. Bases are loaded with one away for the top of the order in Trey Halaska.
And great job by Gardner right there. You go until your coach tells you to stop. And with how hard that ball was hit to center field and how good of a job the center fielder did charging that ball, he had no choice but to stay at third base.
Halaska, one hop. They get one at second, and Halaska runs it out at first. That brings in a run.
The power of putting the ball in play has led to 3 runs for Florida in this inning. None of these balls are necessarily hit hard, but when you put the ball in play, good things happen. And a really nice job by Louisiana right there. We've seen him turn a double play earlier in this game. Unfortunately for them, Halaska just gets down the line too quick.
So a couple aboard for Mirabella, the batter. And a game tied as 3 have scored for Florida in this top of the third inning.
Yeah, we could see right here, this is that communication device that's on the back of the catcher's chest protector. As you can see, there's a little earpiece that goes up into his ear. The pitcher also has one inside of his hat, or sometimes the pitcher might not, but the catcher is getting the signs from the coach in the dugout. he can hear it in his little earpiece. Sometimes you're seeing a little bit of frustration right now from the catcher. He's probably letting his coach know, I'm not hearing anything in my ear. A lot of times you're going to kind of have a backup plan, some hand signals, which you're seeing right now the catcher's delivering to the pitcher.
And as you had said, a lot of the times at this level, the signal or the direction goes from the coach into the catcher's ear, and then that becomes a sign to the pitcher.
Yeah, it's either going to be a physical sign, which you've seen he's using his fingers, or sometimes the pitcher might even have that communication device in his hat.
At the college and pro level especially, it's where you see that as the case. It's 1-1 to Roman Mirabella.
And we've seen, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can actually deliver the sign as a catcher to the pitcher. We've seen a lot of games where we're not actually seeing signs. Sometimes the pitcher's getting in his ear, but sometimes some subtleties of where you set up on the plate, if you show your glove up in the zone versus down in the zone, are different ways that you could kind of communicate what pitch you want from the pitcher. He's calling for the off-speed pitch. Unless 2 could also be like fastball away. There's a bunch of different ways you can give signs.
It's a strike on the outside, 1-2.
In that case, 2 is off speed.
Yeah. Mirabella skies it over to shortstop, and Lopicolo squeezes to end the frame. Top of the third, 3 runs for Florida as we head to the home half. It does make you think. We're in an interesting time where these guys, if you want to learn about somebody like Bo Jackson or another former player that you weren't alive to see play.
Yeah, and I honestly wish.
Pull up highlights on YouTube, and there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I honestly wish that some of that stuff was available to me when I was a kid, or even now, because some of the players that I just got a chance to go to the Hall of Fame, some of those players that I like walked the hall and I got to hold their stuff and see it, I never got a chance to actually see play, obviously, because I wasn't alive, but there's not a lot of video of them. You know, I would have loved to be able to go through an archive of a Willie Mays.
Go, 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 go.
Pickoff throw, rolls away. Blanchard to second. And that may be an instance of Florida playing with their food a little bit. Prior to that advancement, we saw the throw down to second while Blanchard wasn't attempting to steal. That could have gone awry.
Yeah, once again, the thought of a stolen base puts a lot of pressure on the defense. You don't necessarily have to run to put that thought in everyone's mind. You know, he had kind of a false break, which led the catcher to throw it down. It ended up getting by the man covering the base. You try to pick over, just putting a lot of pressure on the defense.
Hunter Verrett torqued his body, did not come all the way around is the ruling. Good restraint, 1-2.
Find a way. That's what I hear in the stands, and what they mean by that is find a way to put this ball in play.
Verrett sends it out to center, a diving effort, and the catch is pulled in. The throw to second on the tag, that's 2.
Wow, what a play by the center fielder right there. Off the bat, I thought exactly what we were talking about. Find a way, put the ball in play. Thought he does everything right here. Shortstop his swing with 2 strikes, and a tremendous play by Will Howard out there in center field. And an even better play, heads up, understanding that base runner took 1 too many steps to have the awareness to not only dive and make the play, come up and make a strong throw. What an impressive double play.
Clears the base paths, and Halaska drops one into the strike zone for an 0-1 to Abram Dong. Foul ball, strike 2, and just like that, leadoff walk, advancement on an error to second. It was no outs and a runner in scoring position. Now it's 2 away, nobody on, and a very advantageous count for the pitcher and the defense, that is.
Yeah, we've seen some really good defense in this game. We've seen aggressive base running. We've seen a little bit of everything. It's been a very competitive game. You know, Louisiana jumps out to that 3-0 lead, but we've seen no lead is safe. You just have a long time in this game. You just got to continue to chip away, get base runners on. And when you do get on, you got to value your time on base. You know, when there's a little bit of indecisiveness on the base pass and leads to outs, you got to make sure 100% in your decisions.
Rolled over, bouncer to third. Strong throw across the diamond by Goss.
Only threw 18 pitches, 22 in the third inning alone.
Sails it high, 2 balls, 2 strikes now.
Part of that is the adjustment from Florida, being maybe a little bit more patient, fighting off some pitches, getting some base runners on.
Wave and a miss. Strike 3 for Dufresne, just his second punch out.
Yeah, we've talked about his ability to get early outs in the count, pounding the strike zone. And when you do get 2 strikes, once again, you can be a little bit more selfish. You can go for chase, but that only starts by being up in the count, throwing strikes early.
Spins it into the zone. 0-1 count for Goss, who's 1 for 1. One and 1.
Yeah, 11 of 16 first pitch strikes. That is about his special talent, was collecting dirt stains, I believe is what he said. His ability to steal second base, pop up on the missed throw, get to third base, really kind of started that lengthy inning where they were able to score their 3 runs.
Three balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, we're getting to that point of the game when that pitch count's getting up a little bit, start getting a little bit more fatigued. You start trying to maybe do a little bit more. This is where you got to just dig real deep internally, find a way to get it done.
Alaska sails it high for ball 4, so they'll be at first and second.
Yeah, when you're seeing a lot of consistent misses in the same spot, especially up in the zone, it's typically because the ball is being released a little bit too early. He's having a hard time getting down the mound. Finding that release point is typically a sign of fatigue. You know, 62 pitches, 4 innings. We talked about kind of how smooth the first couple innings were for him. He's starting to get that pitch count up there. Good mound visit right now by your catcher. Calm him down. Maybe this is a good time, too. When you're having a hard time finding that release point with a fastball, sometimes you got to throw that secondary pitch because you really have to get over the top of it to land it for a strike.
Pretty lengthy outing to this point for Halaska as he deals. And the bunt attempt by Jace Ford fouled back.
And that's a nice job. Exactly what I kind of referred to. When you're having trouble with that fastball, missing up in the zone, as you start to get a little bit tired, you throw the secondary pitch, you throw the curveball, because in order to throw it, you have to get your arm out in front of your body, release out in front. It's exactly what he does right there.
Runners on the ready. Ford can't bunt it in fair ground, so now 0-2.
Yeah, we see this many times with the bunt. There is this tendency to want to get out of the box really quickly. But once again, the most important thing with bunting is put that ball on the grass where you want it to go, then you run. A lot of times when you try to get out of that box too fast, you see exactly what happens. You're starting to run towards first base, so the bat moves, your eyes move, and you end up fouling it off.
0-2. Close take. Pretty good 0-2 pitch.
Very quality 0-2 pitch right there. If I'm the batter in that situation, I'm taking a deep breath, understanding that might be a little too close to take.
Breaking ball chopped over the middle. Bitts makes the play at second herself. The throw to first gets the double play.
Yeah, that's a beautiful play right there. We've talked about a pitcher's best friend. Sometimes when you're laboring through the end of your start, you want to try to get 2 outs on 1 play. That's a really nice job by Bree Bitts at shortstop, understanding the best way and the quickest way is to take that yourself.
There's been a pause in the action. This might get challenged at first. I'm not 100% sure what this conversation is. I thought it was going to be pretty clear, pretty black and white. I want this to be reviewed or I don't.
Yeah, I think what the coach is asking is if he can challenge multiple things on one play. I don't think there's really an argument at second base, but if you are going to challenge, sometimes you can kind of challenge the entirety of the play. Maybe you get lucky at second base. Maybe something happened at second base, but more than likely they're asking for the review at first base.
It does appear to be the official ask. So the call on the field is a double play. You see clearly the out at second is in time.
Yeah, from what we're seeing up here, it's hard to tell the time. Ooh, the foot might. Yeah, from this angle, I'm not seeing anything to overturn it, but if we have a different angle, once again, just a great play by Bree Bitts, understanding.
Yeah, that might be foot on the orange bag right there before the ball is in the glove. So I think this will just be the out at second if that's overturned and the runner forward is ruled safe at first.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you. I mean, in real time, it was a tremendous effort by Bree Bitts at shortstop. What I was going to say is, as you mature in this game, you start to understand time and space. The fact that she had the awareness of how close she was to the base, instead of tossing it to the second baseman, which takes time, she has the awareness to take it herself, was really the only opportunity they had to try to get 2 on that play.
Sign guys say safe. I've gotten word in my ear that everybody in the truck agrees. And that seemed to be the conclusion we came to as well. So maybe
yeah,
we have a consensus. That's the way it's going to go.
After that second view, the first view kind of down the line, it was a little bit inconclusive. But now that we have the luxury of multiple angles, I do believe that foot gets in there. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear right there. We're seeing orange base, foot.
And that is, in fact, the call. It's overturned. Runner at first. Jace Ford is safe. So that's a force out at second. Lopicolo moves from second to third. And the runner at first is safe. So they're on the corners with 1 out.
With 1 out, number 16, Charlie Bartlett.
And that's a pretty big swing for Louisiana there, it feels like. Because that runner on third matters a lot more with just 1 out on the board.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why you don't take anything for granted as a base runner. You don't.
What do you have? Yeah, me too. And they have 2-1.
Little pop up to shortstop. Halaska pulls it in. The throw to third, not quite there in time.
Yeah, very fortunate to get back right there. We've seen this over our time at the tournament here. Runner at third base being in a little bit of a rush to try to score. When you're at third base, anytime that ball's hit in the air, your first step has to be back towards the base. Very fortunate to get back there.
That was really close, too.
I would imagine we're going to get a challenge. That's how close it is. Once again, these coaches are having to make a decision in real time with what their eyes are seeing. They're also trusting their players out there on the field. We are the ones who have luxury of replay up here, and we even said after seeing the replay a couple times, it was really close.
So it will be challenged. We'll get another review. Call on the field is that Jace Ford, the base runner, is safe. He got back to the bag in time, tagging up. Everybody hit on that one. Runner is safe at third. Mirabella fires in the first pitch fastball for a strike. And that thing popped.
Yeah, that was a loud glove pop. I wanted to point out, we've talked about some of the comfort of a pitcher going out of the windup versus a stretch. He's choosing to go out of the stretch right here.
Windup.
I mean, sorry, out of the windup. It is a little bit more risky being a left-handed pitcher because you don't have eyes on that base runner.
At third,
it's a very low percentage that he would take off and try to steal home, but being stuck in this wind-up position, not having eyes on the base runner, it's a bit risky.
No matter, 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Mirabella gets out of it, but it's a tie game now for.
Just a tremendous play. That's a couple times in this game that I've seen a ball off the bat where I said, oh, leadoff guy's getting on, and then just a tremendous play by a fielder.
Yeah. Swung on and missed, 2-2 to Nolan Scott. Another one into the air. This time it's shallow left. Easy grab for Lopacolo at short.
Two down, coming to the plate, number 1.
There's a shortstop. Arm sleeve, cool shades. Just the coolest guy on the field. Especially the ones that kind of look nonchalant out there.
Speaking of cool shortstops, Bree Bitts, the batter for Florida.
Once again, coolest player on the field, shortstop.
1 for 1 with a double her first time up in the third.
Bree's got kind of that combination of that modern cool. She's got the arm sleeve on, but she's got that old school feel, no batting gloves on. Bree is a ball player.
Three and nothing. There's the strike zone for Dufresne, 3-1. Bree seeing a lot of pitches here as compared to her last plate appearance, a first pitch swing and double. Fouls it back, full count.
Yeah, we've seen her do a lot of things on the field. I referenced that near double play, having the awareness to take it herself. In this situation, 2 outs, no one on base, it's a great time to be a little bit more passive. Get the pitch count up, try to find a way to get on base.
There's another one, a shot into left field, and it's down for her second hit.
That is the ideal at-bat in that situation. Late in the game, 70 pitches or so, you're trying to get that pitch count up. You're not necessarily a player that's going to hit a home run. You're not trying to change the scoreboard in one swing. You're trying to get deep into the count. Is able to see a ton of pitches and just use her God-given ability and the hand-eye coordination that she possesses for her second hit of the game.
J.J. Gardner next up. Takes a pretty big hack on the first pitch he sees.
Yeah, this was the area of the lineup that did most of the damage for their runs. And it really started with that double, but then J.J. Gardner had sort of that interesting at-bat. We had bases loaded, or I think there was second and third. He had
second and third, he showed bunt.
He showed the bunt, which was very kind of uncharacteristic from what we've seen to him. He was able to see a lot of pitches. He threw his bat out there and just threw a ball into center field, was able to score, driving the first run of the game. And sometimes as a player, you find yourself in a situation where it feels like you're always up with 2 strikes. And right now you got to throw out the fundamentals. You got to dig deep, just be really competitive. We saw JJ do this in his first at bat. Find a way to get bat on ball.
Oh, 2 from Dufresne, taken. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Whew, you take a deep breath right there if you're JJ at home plate, because that pitch was very close.
Chops it foul. All right, so he fouled one away with a 1-2 count before the RBI single his last time up.
Yeah, if history repeats itself, this is exactly where JJ wants to be. Falls down 0-2, gets the 1-2, fights one off.
Dufresne to the plate, knocks it down with his glove over to Lipicolo. And everybody's safe.
It's almost like watching a replay. Bree gets it started. JJ falls behind. Look at where that pitch is. It's almost in the dirt, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. We spend a lot of time working on our swings. We want to have this perfect swing, but when you get into competition, sometimes you have to throw out the fundamentals and you just have to dig deep. Look where this pitch is at. That ball would have bounced.
That was going to bounce on top of home plate, I think. Instead, it's put into play. And it keeps the frame going for Florida.
I think this is exactly what you want to see from your lineup. You know, typically the guys at the top of the order are the ones that can do a little bit more damage. You want to try to get base runners on. They're typically your run producers. The bottom of the lineup, you just want to see them have really good at bats. And what we've seen is really the bottom of the lineup is where this game has really changed for Florida.
All right, so the huddle breaks for Louisiana, and it will continue to be Dufresne. Fast approaching 80 pitches for the day. I think in our games we've seen, what, one other pitcher get into the 80s?
Yeah, we saw the California, the starting pitcher went the distance. Yeah, he went the distance in the game, and he also had a rough first inning. He gave up 4 runs, but he just stayed with it, kept his team in the game. When you have the ability to throw that sweeper that starts what feels like in the left-handed batter's box and comes back, your initial thought is, I'm going to give up on this pitch, and then it comes back, ends up being a strike. It's very difficult.
And that's only ball 3. Rodrigue thought he had a walk. Instead, it's a full count.
I don't mind it. Let's take a base runner.
Attack it, Will, attack it.
Mirabella heaves, and it's fought off foul.
That was the first really good swing that we saw of Mirabello. And I think as you get deeper into a count, naturally you're going to start to feel a little bit more comfortable. No matter how good the guy on the mound is, the more pitches you see, you get it timed up a little bit better.
Full count again. Again, foul ground, and it makes its way out of play.
And if you see the body language from the pitcher right there, he was a little bit disappointed because he understands how a tournament like this works. He's trying to be very effective, throw a ton of strikes. And as a hitter, if you could continue to fight off pitches and get his pitch count up, you're doing your team a favor.
Strike 3 called. That spinner just drifted into the strike zone.
Good pitch, Ro. Good pitch.
Pitch number 8.
This is the pitch that I'm talking about right here as a right-handed batter. Look where this pitch starts. It almost feels like it's going to hit a left-handed batter if he was in there. Your eyes look so far out over the plate that you kind of give up on it, and then you realize, oh no, it's the sweeper, it's coming back. I've been in that situation. versus the guy that I keep referring to him. This is baby Chris Sale. I've been in the box against Chris Sale many times and have had a very similar reaction to a sweeper that I'm like, there's no way. It almost feels like it's going to hit the on-deck batter on the first base side. You kind of give up on it, and then you realize, oh, man, it's in the catcher's glove.
Another 2-0 count. And it gets away from Mirabella. 3-0 to Blaze Markey.
Smart.
That's a miss outside. Ball 4. Markey walks. Reaches for the second time in as many tries today. 2-run single his first time up.
Yeah, and he had a great at-bat, that first at-bat, where he saw a ton of pitches. He was in a situation where most young athletes in that situation are going to try to do more than they're supposed to, and he did a really good job taking that kind of inside-out approach, hitting the ball down the right field line, and was able to drive in 2 runs.
Man aboard, but still 2 outs for the Florida defense. First pitch outside to Cole Phipps, who hit a ground ball to third. His only time up so far.
Hey, you're great, baby. You're great.
One way here, Blade. One way.
That's now 6 straight outside of the strike zone for Mirabella.
Yeah, and I'm someone who comes from the idea of loving my athletes to kind of determine the outcome of the game and wanting them to be very aggressive, trusting their ability. But when you're facing a guy like this who has elite stuff and he has not been able to find the strike zone, especially where we're at deep into this game, this is a very obvious take 2, get a strike situation. But when you're in that situation as a hitter, you can't just go up there and take a pitch. You need to do your best job of timing that pitch like you're going to swing in the hopes that you're going to get that next pitch again. Yeah, this is really difficult whether you're right-handed or left-handed. He's a tall, lengthy kid, and as you see, you're seeing a lot of knees, you're seeing a lot of elbows, you're seeing a big kind of glove out there, and then that unique arm slot where we're prone to kind of look by the pitcher's head. It's coming from a much different angle.
Two 2-0, that catches the strike zone.
We've talked about how as a pitcher you get into a routine, you can throw a lot of strikes. Sometimes you can get into a bad routine of not throwing strikes.
Calls it off, 0-1.
We've also seen kind of the chaos that unfolds, especially when you get that leadoff batter on in an inning. We've not only seen their ability to steal bases, we've seen kind of the small ball being implemented, bunting guys over, getting them into scoring position.
Alaska goes for second. Mirabella punches it through the infield. Base knock, and 2 aboard for Florida.
And I keep going back to that play in left field. The difference between bases loaded and first and second 1 out is huge, especially this late in the game.
Coming to the plate,
That's just a really nice job right there. It almost appeared to be a hit and run, but whether it was a hit and run or not, it was a perfectly executed, going the other way. Yeah, it almost looks like a hit and run, but once again, if that base runner doesn't really peek in, it means he's going on his own. When you have a hit and run, typically you're going to peek in about the time the ball is getting into the strike zone. You want to know whether your teammate swung or not, or where the ball is actually going to be hit.
Consecutive base hits for Florida. And it prompts a change on the mound for Louisiana, their first. Troy Dufresne exits, having thrown 5 1/3, didn't issue a walk, and only had 1 3-ball.
Second and third, 1 out late in this game, facing elimination.
Another foul ball. These are some hitterish swings from Cruz.
Very hitterish swings, and we talked about as you mature in this game, understanding situation counts. Early in this count, when you're batting third in your lineup, I want you taking these hacks. But as you get deeper into the count, especially a 2-strike count, you got to shorten up the swing a little bit. You got to do your best to put this ball in play.
Lays off in the opposite batter's box in the dirt.
And if you're on the mound in this situation, Caden, if you're on the mound, you have to understand situation too. You got your 3-hole hitter up. You do have a base open. You don't have to give in right here. You don't have to throw a strike. Throw a quality pitch. Try to get some chase. Worst case scenario, you kind of want to play off his aggression. If I'm a hitter in this situation, if I'm a young Anthony Cruz, I want to be the hero in this situation. I want to get the job done. It's hard to stay disciplined in your approach. So what you do in this 3-2 pitch, you don't give in here. You don't have to throw a strike. Try to get him to chase.
That one yanked and bounced foul. That got a lot of the plate.
Got a lot of the plate, and he's fortunate to get away with that pitch. But this also now sets up that next pitch. The willingness to be in the zone allows you now to be out of the zone.
Chance to take the lead for Florida late in this game.
Kind of sense tensions are getting high right now.
Another full count pitch. Cruz rips it on the ground over the middle, gloved it short. Lipicolo throws to first and does compromise, letting the run come across the score.
Yeah, shortstop had no choice, but we talked about the maturity of a batter in this situation. You love those swings he took early on in the count. How about shortening up your swing a little bit, staying in the middle of the field, being able to drive in that go-ahead run is so important late in the game.
Number 13, Tyson Goss.
So Florida takes the lead at 5-4. Runner at third with 2 away, and Tyson Goss is the batter who homered his last time up. He's 2 for 2. Mirabella comes in to score on the wild pitch, and it is 6-4 Florida.
Here's a pitch that just gets away from the pitcher on the mound, but understandably, last time we saw this batter up, he hit a home run deep to left field. So you understand having to try to make a really good pitch when you have a big bopper in the box.
And on the hand, swiped foul. It's 2-1. Here's a look at the home run from back in the 4th inning off of Goss's bat.
Yeah, this is a 2-strike count. This is just a curveball that gets away from the pitcher, backs up. When you're that big and strong, you don't have to swing hard. You just have to be short, direct to the ball, and that's exactly what he did on that swing.
Takes strike 2. Another one driven out to left field by Goss, but another catch, sharp as we saw him a couple of days ago in his start, the first game of the tournament for Florida. Battles back with a strike there.
Yeah, we're starting to get to that pitch count. We're starting to get to those decisions you have to make.
Working quickly and misses the strike zone, ball 4.
But to me, in an elimination game, I think the conventional thinking kind of goes out the window. You would ideally like to win this game, save him for another outing, but there's no guarantee of another game if you don't win today. My expectation, if the score stays similar to this is the only pitcher you're going to see from Florida the rest of the way.
So another base runner without a hit for Louisiana, and it turns the order over to Hunter Verrett. 0-1 the count. They've had at least one base runner in every inning with the exception of that quick 3-up, 3-down first.
Either team didn't have a base runner, and
yeah.
Since then there's just been a lot of base runners on, but very different styles of getting on base. You've talked about the 11 hits from Florida and only the 2 hits from Louisiana, but a ton of traffic on the bases.
Louisiana has drawn 6 walks.
Did he lick his fingers? Yeah, I think he licked his fingers and went straight to the ball, and that is an advantage that a pitcher is not allowed to have. He's allowed to lick his fingers, but he has to wipe it off on his uniform. The umpire at second base noticed it, didn't rule a violation, just asked him to get a new ball.
Blanchard takes his lead from first, and Mirabella's pitch misses outside, 2-1.
You can understand from a pitcher how hot it is out there, how dusty it is out there. Trying to get a little extra grip within the rules is what he's trying to do. They don't have a luxury of a rosin bag behind home plate. He also just came in and scored a run, slid in, so I'm sure his hands are a little bit dirty.
Just nicked foul, and Verrett hangs in there with a 2-2.
Yeah, this is a very tough matchup for Verrett. Being left on left, the stuff that Mirabella possesses, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you have to get out of those fundamentals, the swings you've worked on 1,000 times, and just really compete.
Sneaks into the strike zone for strike 3. There's that left on left you're talking about.
Yeah, left on left, having that low arm angle, that sweeper, and if you kind of see right out of the hand, that ball almost starts behind him. Your initial reaction is this ball is going to hit me. You have to kind of make that decision to turn.
Pickoff throw gets away from Cruz. He recovers well, but the throw into the outfield. Blanchard safe at second.
And that's going to be ending up being a big play because we've seen how dominant Mirabella can be on the mound. And if you're able to get a runner into scoring position, it's not like you're expecting to get a ton of hits off a guy like this. Sometimes you just need one hit at the right time. Getting a runner in scoring position is that right time.
Mirabella misses outside 1-0 to Abram Dong. He's looking for his first hit. Pretty anxious swing there, it looked like, 1-1. Breaking ball just outside.
And a pitcher of this caliber will make you feel anxious as a hitter because the last thing you want to do is fall behind. So you need to go up there, be really aggressive, and sometimes it's going to lead to you chasing.
There's a chopper, third base. Strong throw from Morales, who's moved over there from second.
Really nice play by Morales right there. He had a tough decision to make on that slow chopper. Do I sit back? Do I go get it? He does a really good job kind of chopping his feet right there, getting the right hop in that situation. And a great base running right there. Sometimes you know you're not supposed to run when that ball's hit to the left side, but when that third baseman has to kind of vacate the baseline and go here, it can be really hot. This is the guy who has to sit back there. He's involved in every pitch that happens. He's having to catch a guy on the mound who's got really good stuff.
And Scott going back to the beginning of the week here in Livermore, he's caught every inning for Florida.
Yeah, you know my love for the shortstop position, but by far the toughest person on the field is the catcher. The catcher position doesn't get enough love because when they block a ball in the dirt, you expect them to do it, but when the ball gets by them, you blame them. So it's a very selfless job being a catcher.
That one drifts below the strike zone.
Like right there, that's a very difficult play for a catcher, but you just kind of fall in love with the idea that's what they're supposed to do. They make it look so easy, but it's a difficult play, and they don't get enough love.
Runner goes from third. Mirabella throws in time. Tag applied, side retired.
And I was calling for this earlier in the game because of the stuff that Mirabel possesses. He's choosing to go out of the windup. This is a really nice break right here, but really heads-up play by Mirabel, being able to step off, deliver a strike. Does he get under the tag? I think the catcher does a nice job blocking the plate. He does leave that kind of opening between his legs where the base runner is able to kind of slide in there. And I think there's a chance he might have got underneath the tag.
I think there's certainly a chance. It is a very aggressive play by Chad Blanchard.
And sometimes you have to take that risk. You understand, and this isn't no offense to the guy in the box, but sometimes you're facing certain guys on the mound that are just really, really difficult to hit. And I talked
to a team that up to this point, again, we talked about it.
Yeah,
only has
two hits.
But go back to your justification here and why you thought that maybe Louisiana should have tried this in the last inning.
Yeah, we talked about when you're on the mound with a runner at third base, you have a choice. You can either go out of the windup or you can go out of the stretch. He's choosing to go out of the windup, and especially being a left-handed pitcher, as soon as his foot moves, he's committed to going home. His back is also faced to the runner, so he can't see him.
Yeah.
The only way he was able to do this, the runner left a little bit early before he actually started his windup. His catcher does an extremely good job of standing up, indicating, hey, the runner's coming. I'm sure there was some communication amongst the infielders saying, runner, runner. It's a very mature play by a pitcher to have the awareness to step off with the correct foot, not panic in a situation like that, deliver a strike home. This is a very difficult play to rule at home, too, because as you could tell, catcher does a good job trying to get out in front of home plate. His legs are a little bit open right there, which allows the base runner to slide in. But we've talked about this on our broadcast. Home plate is the only base that's flat. It's really difficult when you're sliding feet first to have your foot kind of slide into home plate. Most of the times you're sliding into a base, you have elevation. So your foot can kind of glide above the dirt and hit the base. It's very difficult to tell if his foot's slightly above the base or because it can't be over the base. It's not.
Something else, too, here. You look at the right foot of Blanchard. It slides into the right foot of Scott, the catcher, which is just in front of home plate. Now, I think there you can see the runner's foot on home plate. It's just with the depth from this angle, tough to tell. It doesn't look like Scott's got the mitt down.
And reminder for people watching at home, too, it has to be definitive to overturn it. Also, you can't piece two different videos together. The fact that he may be safe here, we don't know where the ball is because we can't see it, which makes really close plays difficult to overcall unless it's clear and obvious.
Yeah.
Regardless of what the outcome of this play is, I love the aggression from Louisiana. I had mentioned it last time when they were in that situation. And I was fortunate in my career to actually have a straight steal of home. And it was a very similar situation. Dylan Betances was actually the guy on the mound. And it didn't matter who my teammate.
Late swing, fouled, and look out, Chico Anderson on deck.
Chico's tough. We've seen him play multiple positions in this tournament. That's the last thing you want when you're on deck. You're just trying to feel good, get your timing with the pitcher, your teammates up, you're cheering them on, and then he hits a line drive off your leg.
Is that a moment for like some mindfulness? Are you kind of in your own little world there?
No doubt. Everyone kind of has this.
Second, and the tag applied. So Morales caught stealing.
That is a huge play by the catcher for Louisiana. We talked about the importance of getting a leadoff guy on and also really trying to extend that lead. We've seen no lead is safe in this tournament. To have the awareness to stay in there with that bunt attempt, it's a really difficult thing for a catcher. Imagine a bat kind of going through your vision of your eyes. To be able to catch that and deliver a strike is a very impressive play for a young catcher.
Breaking ball missed low and away for Rodriguez. So now it's 1-2. Charles Graff 0 for 2. And that one spins outside. I was talking about the act of being on deck. What did you try to focus on when you were on deck?
Initially when you come out of the dugout, to your point, it's a little bit of me time. It's a little bit of like reflection. It's a little bit of like deep breathing. You're kind of in your own little space for that short amount of time, and you're getting your body loose. You're kind of feeling the energy of the game, and then it turns to really trying to get your timing with the pitcher.
Graff grounds it out the middle for a base knock. So consecutive hits, yet just one base runner and one out on the board for Florida.
It's kind of your last time, too, when you really want to think in the box. You're kind of going through your checklist of what do I want to accomplish at the plate, whether it's situational hitting or what pitch do I want to look for, and then you want to kind of free your mind when you get to the box. So it is your last little reminder. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to accomplish. And then you just got to trust your ability when you get in the box. Unless
you're rudely interrupted in your on-deck routine, as Chico Anderson was a moment ago. We'll see how it affects his plate appearance here. 0-1. There goes the runner. Anderson takes the throw late into second. So Graff is safely into scoring position. And the base popped off. These are those bases that do not have the big metal pegs that secure them.
Yeah, this is exactly the reason why. And we've seen just multiple times kind of the late slide into the base. As you get a little bit older, you start understanding, once again, time and space. When do I need to slide? And you know that base isn't going to give. So sometimes you learn the hard way, but at this age, they do the right thing by having these pop-off bases.
1-1 for Anderson. That one into right center field, down for a hit. He's got a single. Graff stopped at third. Anderson takes advantage of the throw home, though, and moves to second.
In a situation like this, ideally you would love to see your base runner score right here, but if you have any sort of indecisiveness, you're better off making sure you get to the next base. We've seen multiple times base runners getting a little bit too aggressive, a little uncertain, and they get thrown out or doubled off. It's really important when you're out in the field, especially at second base, pre-pitch, understanding where the defense is at. It gives you a better idea of when that ball's hit, you know it's going to land.
Infield in. Scott gets a bunt down. First base side. Run comes in to score. Here comes another as Anderson got greedy and he's thrown out.
Wow, what an exciting play right there. We talked about the importance of getting an extra run across in that situation. Just a beautifully executed bunt right there. A little bit aggressive.
So Florida gets a run, 7-5. They lead it by 2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th in Louisiana.
Frustrated. They were able to kind of take him out of his rhythm. We talk about that steal at home. Really took him out of his rhythm. Starting this inning, he's got good pace in his windup. A lot of conviction behind the pitches he's throwing.
Working quickly, a strike taken. And a strike offered at. Patikas has 0-2. Strike three on the inside corner. That's 2 down.
Yeah, we mentioned him getting into a rhythm. You could see how quickly he's working. And Louisiana's down to their final out. An extremely tough matchup right now, left on left. But you got to do your best to try to interrupt his timing. Maybe step out of the box, call time.
Just off inside, 1-0 to Rhett Smith. There's strike one, evens it up.
Yeah, notice how quickly he's getting the ball back, being ready to pitch. He is a man determined.
This is outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. And that one outside as well, ball 4. Looked like maybe a little bit late on the release those last few.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes there is this, when you're left on left, the visual changes, meaning there's a hitter in that box, especially when you're coming from that lower angle, you feel like you have a little bit less room. Imagine coming from that side with a right-handed batter in the box. You feel like the strike zone is so big to a right-handed hitter.
And right on cue, he delivers a first pitch strike to right-handed batter Rodriguez. Into the air. Bitts is there, squeezes the pop-up, and Florida closes it out to advance. They take it 7-5 over Louisiana, facing elimination.